Did you get some more stuff from Debbie?
Maybe we came back from lunch and went quick.
Did you get that information from Debbie? Okay.
Yep, are you ready?
Yeah.
You're the chairman, so go ahead and lead.
So what did you get from her? Got a copy for any lady?
No, I didn't get a copy. Got the verbal.
Word of mouth.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, column one then would be the same. Column two.
Now, wait a minute, which one are we on here?
Well, what information are you looking for, Franklin? Be specific if you would. 'Cause obviously I'm not understanding what it is. you're looking for.
Oh, I know, you said you was gonna get some more information from Debbie.
Yep, I said I was gonna double check with Debbie to see if she had more information, and she does. And I gave you the information.
That's on these sheets here?
Yeah, but you need to plug it into your own.
Okay, which sheet are we on now?
Go to your tax levy requirements report. Column one would be the same for public safety. Column two would be 180,
I don't
863.
know.
Just a sec.
Franklin, I gave it to you just a few minutes ago, or I guess now a couple hours ago.
That's what I'm right. Okay, this one right here.
Column. Where are you at, Elaine?
This one
That
here.
doesn't look like.
That's what I'm confused.
Oh, Franklin, would you please pull up this sheet that says tax levy requirements schedule at the top?
There you
Okay,
go.
What we're doing is reworking for one fund, the tax levy requirements report. It's 2,300, public safety, column one, appropriation, 1,002,518.
Okay, I gotta rewrite it now. This is different. This is, before it was at 1757.
That was general. This is
Oh,
public
Franklin,
safety.
This is public safety. Go to a new line, you can use the same piece of paper, you've got about 15 lines there, go to line number 2,
Well, that's what I was gonna do.
please do so. Appropriation is column number 1.
Right, that's what I need is that figure.
I gave it to you already twice, I'm gonna give it to you again, it's on your tax levy requirements report from earlier. 1,002,518. Column number 2 is budgeted cash reserve. 180,863. Total of the twos, column 3, 1,183,381. Column 4 is 265, 192. Column number 5 is 574, 535. Column number 6, property tax revenues, is 343, 654. Column 7 is the total of the two, 918, 189. Column number 8, of course, equals column number 2. So when you look at your mill levies, 23.83 plus 1.82, you come up with a reserve of 18%. Now, realize there could be some changes in here that would make these numbers a little bit different, but that's the general. The detention center is still at 30% reserve. Public safety is now at 18, a vast improvement.
It's a big improvement.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we can all sleep well tonight. So, any further questions on that? Miss any columns? Should we go ahead then and make whatever decisions we can prior to Brenda getting here, so that when Brenda gets here, that's the last item, we can deal with longevity also?
Mhm.
So, did you guys have any arguments or counter proposals to the health insurance plan proposed?
No, I don't.
No, under the health insurance.
Okay, I will move that we, pending any major changes in totals and amounts, that we stick with the health insurance plan as defined by the county compensation board. And at this point, pass any increases from Teamsters in April and any shortfalls in the reserves. There won't be any shortfalls in the budget, but in the reserves to the employees effective next July 1.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded. There again, it's a long one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed.
They
What
are
is it?
long. I'm sorry.
What is employee safety?
That's our safety committee.
Hmm.
The other thing I wanted to share with you also that I learned from Debbie at lunch. Each budget actually has already budgeted for the retirees and is responsible for budgeting for resigning employees as well.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah, that's great news. We don't have to worry about that.
Good.
Yeah. The next one is, I move that we, well, the detective. Do you wanna wait till we have Brenda here for anything to do with public safety, including
I
the
think
so.
detective? Okay. I would like to know if there's any arguments or counter proposals to a reduction in the general fund of 5% across the board to increase the cash reserves percentage.
No, I don't have any. I mean, if we're gonna tell the departments they have to, then shouldn't we have to?
It's for a reduction across the board of 5%.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the general fund.
Just the general fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
That's what we talked about this morning.
What about the other departments?
they don't need it.
There's several different departments within the general fund,
Right.
and they'll all have to, just
Okay.
as we do.
Just in the general fund though. It won't include
Road,
seniors, yeah, ambulance, all those. So I move, in the interest of increasing the cash reserves from 17% to closer to 23%, that every department in the general fund be asked to find 5% cuts in their budget.
Moved
I'll second that.
and seconded, as motion stated, all in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
motion passed.
Okay. I move that we set up a fund for the ambulance building, for water and sewer payments within the general fund, and to be funded in the commissioner's budget for 6 months' worth of city bills.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded on the motion as stated, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, no. I think it should state on the pills we have been doing. Anyway, motion passed.
Okay, let's see. Social housing liability. Oh, liability insurance, we have 70,000 in just reserves for that, but it's not funded by mills. So the reserves aren't required, it's a set amount, so I move that we use the 70,000 in reserves for the liability insurance to offset the PILT coverage of said insurance.
I'll second that motion.
Moved and seconded, as motion stated, all in favor,
Aye.
Aye.
motion passed.
All right, now for, well, these next ones are easy. For the hospital district, we told them that we would take them to the full amount they were funded last year in mills. So I move that we take 0.02 of our 3.16 additional mills and give it to the hospital district to make them whole.
How much was that?
0.02 is a very nominal amount, $235.
It's hardly worth mentioning.
I know, it really is. And here's
Yeah,
the.
that's right, so why did you?
Pardon me?
Yeah, well, it's even, if we're talking about a couple $100.
Because it makes clearer books.
It's a motion we made, and so I think we need to be good to our word.
What do you mean, the motion we made?
When the hospital district was here, that was one of the motions we made, that they requested. Their
Yeah.
letter that you have in the mail requested 3 things from us, and one was that we would budget the same number of mills for the standard hospital district, not the voted mills, as they had last year, which was 2.42. So all I'm doing is taking us to that amount from 2.4 to 2.42 with an increase of 0.02 mills to the hospital district mills.
Makes sense. I'll
Yeah.
second the motion.
No, it doesn't to me, but this motion had moved and seconded as the motion stated, all in favor, opposed, me. No.
All right, in the past, again, we have funded our economic development arm through PILT to the tune of $15,000, and that's been since before you and I joined the board. We have 3.16 additional mills, 3.14 now. What I would like to suggest is that we fund MBAC, our dues, not from PILT, but from 1 mill. The idea behind that, it is a reduction to MBAC, but the idea is we have by law the ability to do 2 mills for economic development. How goes Broadwater County, so goes MBAC. If we do well in business development, our valuation goes up. If we do poorly, our valuation goes down. If MBAC is able to help us and bring good quality businesses, our value goes up, their dues go up. If they don't pay any attention to Broadwater County, our values go down, and so does MBAC's dues. So it kind of marries us at the hip with MBAC and kind of puts a financial incentive on them continuing to work for us.
What are they working on right now?
Oh gosh, a variety of things. Brian's working with Nicole on a couple of things. We've got the revolving loan fund out there. We should have a report here shortly from them. But yeah, I'm not privy to all of it, you know, but they're always working, as we
The
all
horse
know.
place out there at Dawson, Gettysburg,
Mhm.
are they current now?
I don't know. We just got a report maybe 6 weeks ago. I saw it, but I didn't register any details that
I didn't
stayed in my
either.
memory. So that was in the form of a motion.
Second.
Okay, it's moved to second that we give a mill to MBAC. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Okay, and then the last one on this, I move that instead of giving, and meeting with, I think we still need to meet with them, but instead of giving BCDC $10,000 to $15,000 a year for local economic development, that we give them and our new community development department 1.5 mils to be split between the two. Not to exceed for BCDC our 2 mil limit for economic development. The planning department, which is now community development, is going to require mills in the future. This gives them a little seed funding so that she can continue finding grants with the idea of self-funding that department. She needs a place to start, and I think the place to start is not after it's too late where we're chasing our tails, but up front so that she can actually use this for development of her department.
And the law allows for us to do this,
Yes, it does. Yeah,
up to 2 meals.
exactly. Yeah. So I guess my motion, let me repeat that, instead of marrying the two because of the law issue, my motion is to provide 0.75 mils to BCDC for economic development for Broadwater County.
Second.
Okay, the motion's made to give 1.75
No,
mils,
0.75.
1.75,
No,
0.75 to BCDC for community development.
Yes.
It was motion's made and passed, right? And then I read off the motion, you straightened me out when I had.
Yeah, we haven't voted though.
Right. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
Okay, and then the last one is the Community Development Department. We have a new department, it's no longer funded by subdivisions. If some come in, that will help fund that department still, as planning is part of the new job description. But we are gonna have to find a means of funding that department since we have extra mills, this is a good use for it. So I move that we give 0.75 mills to the Community Development Department.
I'll second that motion.
1.75 mils
No, Franklin's 0.75.
to community development.
Department.
Okay, moved and seconded on the motion to give 0.75 mils to the community development department. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No.
And this just keeps us from using PILT for some of these ongoing expenses. I think it's a good use of our money overall. And that still gives us 0.64 mils that I suggest we don't know this year unless it's determined that it's required. Again, totally open to any discussion or counter proposals. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything?
don't believe so.
I think the only other thing is longevity.
Mhm.
Yeah. That was a bus Franklin started driving, so whichever one of you two want to bring it up for discussion, I yield the floor.
Well, I'll just answer a little back on that. I was to check on that time, and I did, and I checked with Mako. And Harold suggested that you be very careful, because if one gets longevity, it's gonna go all the way for everyone, and it could be costly. And that's the way I feel, is I don't think the county can afford it.
Well, I think the county can afford it. And I'm a firm believer, if you do one, you do them all. Well, the sheriff's office is already getting longevity by law. And the sheet that I give you now, people have to have had 5 years in before they could qualify, and it's figured at 1%.
I am torn on this, and I'm gonna tell you something that I've heard from the public about this. I haven't heard a lot of support. One of the things that I've heard over and over and over again is the elected officials should not be included, if we consider this. We got a big raise last year because of that settlement. It shouldn't affect the deputies, because longevity is separate. That might be something to double check with legal. But I think for me to support this number one, we'd have to remove elected officials.
I'm fine with that. Because yes, we did get a nice healthy raise last year. And besides that, we knew what we were getting into, it was gonna be, what we ran for these jobs.
Well, absolutely, I know that part, but as far as this longevity, I'm gonna table it.
Why?
The reasons I've stated before.
No,
Franklin,
I
let me
want a
tell you
reason.
one thing, this has been on the table for a year. And those guys have come to us how many times? And we keep saying, go to H, we don't wanna bother you. They have never gotten any response whatsoever, and they deserve that.
I think it's cowardly, Franklin, to not even want to discuss anything about this.
The next item to move on to.
For the next subject, I'm gonna go ahead and make my motion and ask for discussion. I move that we grant market adjustments to the county attorney's staff.
I'll second that motion.
Request for discussion. We have two requests, well, we have documentation from our people next door requesting a market adjustment. And this was brought forward by Corey. He stated this was his priority even before he got any kind of a secretary. We all were given the letters, I just can't seem to find mine right now, but I know it's here. I am drafting at Corey's, discussion with Corey, a policy on how to do market adjustments. This is in keeping with that proposed policy. And that's so that everybody's on the same page and does the same thing. I have two of this one, I don't know if you got this one. We all did via email. But what we have is, from the past, we have how much these two folks are working, and now we have a request, we have a letter of request from Corey that we all received, and a market adjustment supporting that request. It has other counties with like positions, what they're making, and it's already been put in the budget, in the preliminary budget, so it would not add to any of the numbers discussed today. I'm not sure I can support the entire amount Corey's looking for, and I'll tell you why. I think we need a comprehensive countywide market adjustment analysis. I think this is something that we should do for starters, but I can't support a employee getting a market adjustment over a supervisor. Our least paid supervisors are at 18-something an hour. So what I would suggest is,
And that would be who?
that would be Nicole, planning, community development, and weed. And I'll have the totals here for you in just a second. They both make $18.06 an hour. So I would like to not exceed 17-something an hour at this point, with the idea that when we are able to look at everything on a comprehensive level, that we keep that in mind.
And what did he ask for, refresh my memory?
He didn't give us a hourly, he gave us a salary, so we just need to do the division.
So we don't know what they're making now.
Yeah, we know
Yes,
what they're
you
making.
have your list, Franklin. And after you made your cowardice move, I'm not gonna assist you anymore. You're gonna have to stand on your own 2 feet on this. You've had the same training and the same documents as the rest of us.
Maybe you went to Elaine, but you're not gonna give me one, I guess, huh?
You got it via email. I just happen to have 2, and I just.
Just happened to, huh?
Yeah. I just happened to.
Okay.
Don't be a child.
Don't feel with that.
Oh, where did this letter go? It does. Corey Swanson.
Brooke's making $16.59 right now.
What is Wendy making?
She's not on this list.
Okay. See, they're about the same actually, in their pay. Different job titles, he's looking at, I guess he's looking at still a difference. He's looking at about a 20% increase. All right, so I have Wendy. Starts with an R. She's at 1651, and what was Brooke at?
$16.59.
All right. With a market adjustment, it doesn't require that we have to go to the highest number. That's still within our area of responsibility, I guess. Looks like average for a paralegal or a legal assistant is about 19.95 an hour. And for victims advocate, that is, let's say a grant position. And there's not as many to look at here, but she does work also as an assistant for Corey. Grant is part-time. Looks like they're both fairly close, about 18.33 per hour for Brooke.
Well, that's almost $2.
It is, yeah. Again, I personally wouldn't take it higher than 18. I'd be agreeable to $1 an hour each. It's already in the budget. Corey is looking at an intern instead of a deputy county attorney until he can ferret out what his needs are, and instead of a paid secretary. He may be able to give that intern a stipend, as has been done in the past, but it would still be far less than what an employee would make. We have longevity with one of these employees who's been with us a very long time, and the other one who is making far less than market for a lot of the work she's doing. What do you guys think?
I'm fine with that.
We go with $1 an hour now, with the idea of a comprehensive evaluation later. And I should tell you what Corey's suggestion would be, 20%. Corey's would be $3.30 roughly per employee per hour.
Right now,
Yeah,
I think that's too much.
I just don't think we can justify that either. Yeah, it'd be about $20 an hour each.
And I can see where he's coming from, you know? They do a lot of work.
I agree, I
But
think it's deserved, without question. Here's the thing that's hard, is can the budget afford it? Yeah. With what the city pays, you know, it's part of the general fund, which everyone's gonna be asked for 5% reduction, which they'll be able to come up with, without having the secretary position. But this is one of the strong budgets within the general fund, so that's easily answered. Can we justify it? Yeah, we have the market adjustment research here. You know, the positions themselves and the work involved do warrant a higher pay. We we just can't go as high as Corey's requesting, and it is common knowledge that Broadwater County pays everybody far below market. It's not something I'm proud of. I don't think it's great for retention and attraction of good employees. We've been very lucky, despite that, to have some great employees, but I just don't think we can make that kind of a jump. But I certainly think with the work that they do, that we could do a jump.
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I will move that we grant a market adjustment to both the legal assistant and victims advocate in the county attorney's office by $1 per hour each.
I'll second that motion.
Move and second. Motion to the victim advocate and legal secretary. The county attorney's office, $1 an hour raise. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed.
What else is left?
Oh, I think that's it, other than Brenda, who should be here, I would hope fairly soon. This was, of course, on the agenda too, so. Corey? We sent out letters to each of the special districts and to the city to get their mills into us in writing, so that is something we cannot miss. We haven't heard anything back from some of them yet. Longevity's been tabled. I think that should be an agenda item on the agenda, so that we can have an honest and open discussion about the employees there. Yeah, that's it. Search and Rescue has a CIP fund, so if they want to start saving, we certainly can do that. That's it.
We could recess for the next 30 minutes.
If an item is tabled, can it come up later?
It has to come up at the very next meeting, which would be a week from today. So I think since it's part of the budget, I don't know if, I think the next agenda is woefully lacking. All it says is budget review. Well, it should, just like the last one that we had to revise. I think it should be revised to state specifically what the budget review is, so that everybody knows. So Franklin, I think you should revise it to include longevity, since you're the one who tabled it.
I'm not gonna revise it, it's already done.
Franklin?
No, Franklin, you're missing the point. It has to be on the agenda. Pure and simple, to let the public know so that we can talk. And all those things have to be listed. You can't just say budget. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything to the public. They're entitled to know.
Budget review's taking care of everything.
No, 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 no. It is not. Franklin, you know better than that. You didn't just start this job yesterday. Goodness.
That way, anybody that's concerned on their department, whatever, it's out there. They come, or if the public's concerned, they come.
They have to come and spend the entire day then. Is that correct?
I don't know why they have to spend the entire day.
To wait and see if their topic is gonna come up.
They present it at the time, then. It's like they've done always before.
You're the one who tabled it. It was brought up just like they did before. this time by a commissioner, and you tabled it. Now, it needs to come up.
You're talking about the budget review, that's what we're talking about.
Don't you yell. Don't you lose your temper in here.
No, you're not gonna do that here. Come on.
In order for us to address specifics like this that requires discussion and deliberation, it should be included on the agenda to be legal. You tabled it, therefore, according to our phone call we had to make the other day, it needs to come up at the next meeting. You need to put it on the agenda. As you are the chairman, Franklin, there are pieces of this job that you have to do to be legally compliant. I'm officially requesting that you amend the budget to include longevity for open transparency for the public and our employees
On the agenda.
on the agenda.
And you're going Monday.
I am, yeah.
Nothing else being brought forward, then I'll move that we recess for till, it's about 1:30 till about 5 minutes till 2.